The Jewish state was the realization of the great project of Theodor Herzl.
Theodor Herzl.
He was the founder of Zionism.
But he came to the idea that the cause of anti-Semitism is because the Jews do not have a state of their own.
And he wrote a little booklet, The State of the Jews. He said there is only one way of protecting the Jewish people in the future, for the Jews to leave Europe and to settle in their homeland, the land of Israel. And that book became like the Bible of Zionism.
Zionism was the formation of the hope for the rebirth. It started with World War I, the Balfour Declaration.
The Balfour Declaration was a letter written to Lord Rothschild. So in order to understand the Balfour Declaration, we have to know who Rothschild was.
Money is power. Money is the only weapon that the Jew has to defend himself with.
Meyer Amschel Bauer, born in Frankfurt, Germany in 1744, was a moneylender and a goldsmith on Jew Street, whose shop had a sign out front with a red hexagram on it. Eventually, he would change his name to Rothschild, which is German for red sign. Rothschild soon learned that loaning money to governments and kings was more profitable than loaning money to private individuals. Not only were the loans bigger, but they were secured by the nation's taxes. Meyer Rothschild had 5 sons whom he trained in the skills of money creation and sent out to the major capitals of Europe to open branches of the family banking business.
You are 5 brothers. I want you each to start a banking business in a different country. One to go and open a house in Paris, one in Vienna, one in London. Choose the most important centers, so that when money is to be sent from here to London, let us say, you won't have to risk life and gold. Amschel, here in Frankfurt, will just send a letter to Nathan in London saying, pay so-and-so, and that will be offset by loans from London to Frankfurt. You understand?
Yes.
In your day, there will be many wars in Europe. And nations that have money to transport will come to the Rothschilds because it will be safe. Your 5 banking houses may cover Europe, but you will be one firm, one family, the Rothschilds, who work always together. That will be your power.
The British government wrote the famous Balfour Declaration and addressed it to none other than Lord Lionel Rothschild. The declaration promised Palestine and Israel to the Rothschild Zionists.
Rothschild helped found Israel, and Rothschild has always been the backer of Israel. Whatever Rothschild wants, he gets.
The Rothschilds own 80% of the land of Israel. Even the flag of Israel flies the hexagram symbol from the Rothschild family's red shield. The hexagram has 6 points, 6 triangles, and 6 sides on the central hexagram. The numbers 666 are associated with the biblical prophecies that predict an apocalyptic Third World War. The Rothschilds bought Reuters in the 1800s. Reuters then bought the Associated Press, which selects and delivers the same news stories to the entire world, day after day. They have controlling interest in 3 major television networks and easily avoid media attention since they own it. Until recently, they owned and operated England's Royal Mint and continue to be the gold agent for the Bank of England, which they also direct. They control the LBMA, London Bullion Market Association, where 30 to 42 million ounces of gold worth over $11 billion are traded daily. The Rothschilds earn millions weekly just on transaction fees alone. They also fix the world price of gold on a daily basis and profit from its ups and downs.
We already know that modern-day Israel, at least in an earthly sense, had a lot to do with the efforts of the Rothschilds. Some more symbolism that gives that away can be found in the Israeli Supreme Court. The Israeli Supreme Court was funded by the Rothschilds on the condition that they would choose the plot of land, would use their own architect, and that the price of its construction would never be made public. Built in 1992 in Jerusalem, it sits next to the Knesset, which is the main political building in Israel. Also funded by the Rothschilds, the Knesset is the legislative branch of the Israeli government, where laws are enacted and heads of state are elected. Here's the picture of the Supreme Court. This painting is at the entrance to the building and depicts the Rothschilds planning its design along with Shimon Peres and Isaac Rabin. A journey through the Supreme Court esoterically represents a path towards illumination. The ultimate goal of the journey is to reach this pyramid, which represents the most holy place in the building.
All right, are you serious? Are you serious? I'm standing at the top, basically, of the hotel. I'm zooming in for you. What you're looking at here is a side view of the Supreme Court here in Israel. That is the Supreme Court building. And as you can see on the top of the roof, you can see the pyramid. It's greenish. It has the Illuminati eye. And I mean, it's identical to what's on the back of the US dollar bill. It is a green pyramid with the Illuminati eye. And this is the Israeli Supreme Court building. Are you serious? Every government in the world, there are people among the government. In every nation, the Illuminati has people lurking. Here's the back of your dollar bill. See the pyramid? The Illuminati eye. All right. Now come with me this way. Can I show you? It's not by accident. It's not by accident. Definitely not by accident. Now, check this out. This is the pyramid above us. She comes a little closer. To the top. Right to the top. Bringing in the illumination, trying to hit the spot in the center. Just like the pyramids of Egypt, just like the pyramid on the back of your US dollar. This is called the Illuminati.
Once outside the building, we are then invited to visit the Dorothy Rothschild Grove. We find this plaque on the wall with the arrow. Alongside it, we also find this plaque, which also contains an all-seeing eye. Sorry about the quality of these, I couldn't find anything more clear-cut. All these things, again, are just evidence of the Rothschilds' occult influence.
In May of 1948, a new Jewish state, Israel, was born in a bath of blood. Jewish troops routed Arab forces from the city of Haifa in the first of a series of battles that were to reverberate through the years. The new government, headed by David Ben-Gurion, is installed in Tel Aviv. Thus, for the first time since the Roman legion destroyed Jerusalem in the year 70 AD, the Jewish people have a nation of their own.
Today, a lot of Christians think that like God brought the nation of Israel back, you know, and God did this wonderful work. But really, was it really the will of God to bring these people back into Israel, or was it the will of the United Nations?
Look, Christian out there, ask yourself that question. Was there a revival going on in Israel? Were people accepting Jesus as their Messiah? The answer is no. So therefore, that was not God bringing back Israel because they believed in him. He said he would scatter them if they didn't keep his word, and he did. He said he'd bring them back when they turned unto him. They have not turned unto him.
And so if it's not the Lord who brought them back, then who did bring them back? It was the spirit of Antichrist that brought them back to the Promised Land. It was the United Nations who brought them back to the Promised Land.
Thus history was made as the Jewish state of Israel was born. Conceived in strife and weaned on violence, Israel has flourished to become a constructive voice in world affairs. Her flag became a symbol of hope in a troubled world.
Who is Jesus to you?
Oh, it's a hard question. A cousin. No. I don't know.
Okay.
I guess, for me, it's nothing.
Okay.
It's I guess he's someone for people who consider themselves Christian, but for me, he's nothing.
Okay. I'll explain why I asked that specific question. People outside of Israel who are Christians, very religious, they don't really understand how Jews live in the. This is my impression. They don't understand how Jews live in the land where Christianity was born and don't know much or follow Christianity. So they ask me to ask Israelis who is Jesus for them, what is Jesus, why don't they believe in Jesus. זה על ישו, מי זה ישו במבט Jesus Christ במבט היהודית?
ישו?
כן.
הוא נוצרי, הוא לא קשור אלינו בכלל.
אוקיי, אז למה הוא לא המשיח? מה?
יהודי שהתנצר והלך לנצרות.
כן.
שיחק בדיוק, חי בסרט רציני שהוא הולך על המים.
היה מעשן הרבה.
אנחנו לא מאמינים בישו, ישו בכלל לא קשור אלינו, אין לנו קשר לישו.
Okay.
I don't care. Good. I hope the Jews did kill Christ. I'd do it again. I'd fucking do it again in a second.